Hello everyone, I am Issoufou. I came from Nigeria in West Africa, and I have a Chinese name, Issoufou. Today, I am here in the clay sculpture village of Baoji City in order to learn clay art, but I'm not here alone. The guest we have invited is not here yet, so I will walk on this journey myself to find Master Hu Xingming. Master Hu supported the whole village through this clay art. He's awesome, and I will tell you the story of him. I spent my childhood in my grandma's, and I loved the clay sculptures. But the clay sculptures in Africa differed from those of China. We have limited colors, for example, black, brown, white, blue, and red. That's almost all of them. But in China, I saw so many sorts of clay figurines, and I found it very interesting. That's why I do want to have a first-hand experience. And this is actually a local culture in Shaanxi. Their colors, their gestures differ greatly, particularly the colors. As you can see, green, white, black, white, red, and they may put on different expressions on their faces. For example, they may also engrave the 12 animals in the Chinese lunar calendar. And I used to play the clay figurines when I was young. We have put it in different shapes, for example, the vase, the bottles, and also we may fetch water in those clay arts, but they may be oxidated, and so I came here. I hope that I want to be the apprentice of Master Hu, and I hope he could accept me. My friend Afe is not here yet. I'm kind of nervous. I know nobody here. I'm not sure if Master Hu will accept me as an apprentice. I will call him Master Hu. If he accepts me, I may become his apprentice. Now I'm in. Hello there. Sorry to interrupt. I am Issoufou from Nigeria. I'm here to find Master Hu Xingming. And that's me. Nice to meet you, Mr. Hu. I am here to learn clay art from you. In Fengxiang, your local customs of the clay sculptures are quite popular. And I come from Nigeria in West Africa. I used to play the clay figurines when I was young in my grandma's home, and now I'm here in China. I do want to learn the Chinese clay art. Could you please be my teacher? But I have to test your Chinese level. No problem. You're communicating smoothly. And I have a test for you. You have to pass the language test first by reading the dictionary. Very good. Okay, that's fine. You're reading it quite proficiently. You have to pass another test. Alright then. You say you love Fengxiang clay art, which is a traditional art in China. How about you find another crafts similar to the craft of the clay art in Fengxiang? Okay, so my task is to find a similar craft to the clay art in Fengxiang County. That's a test about your understanding of the local culture and customs. I'll do my best. Thank you. Master Hu has preconditions to accept me as an apprentice, so my second task is to find a similar handicraft related to Fengxiang's local culture and customs. I'm not sure how to proceed, and I'm kind of nervous. In Baoji City, in this Fengxiang County, I know no one here. And where is my friend? Hurry up! Why are you out so early? I didn't see you when I arrived, so I entered directly. I thought you were waiting for me. You're so quick, and I've been waiting long. Where have you been? I shopped. I shopped a very beautiful thing. Have a check. Look at the embroidery. Have you seen such stitches? It has a beautiful name. It's called Laughing with the Mouth Open. There are different spices inside, and you can just hang it over your bed or your desk. It smells good. And there are a lot of surprises waiting ahead. So you forgot about me just because of shopping. That's about girls. You shouldn't left me here alone. I am a foreigner. It's a tough day for me. So what have you been through? Master Hu asked me to read a doggerel, a very classic doggerel about eating grapes. Two of them are quite simple, but for the third doggerel, it was quite hard. I can't read the characters. The second doggerel was about reading the numbers in Chinese. That's even difficult for me. Do you have any other task? He asked me to find another handicraft related to Fengxiang's local customs. Okay, so now your homework is to find some handicrafts related to local crafts. Maybe we can be inspired by this locality. You're right. Fengxiang is home to customs and handicrafts. It has three treasures. If our viewers know the answers, feel free to leave the comments. The three cultures are the willow by the East Lake, the alcohol called Shifeng alcohol, and the hands of the girls. So you can get inspiration from those three. What do you think may come out of the girls' hands? By that it means the girls in Fengxiang are quite deft at embroidery. They can also do good paper cutting works. That's the shop I was in. She's doing the embroidery. Have you seen such a sight before? I did. Excuse me, this is my friend Afu. Welcome to our village. You've embroidered a large part of it. It's having a good meaning. I'm giving my best wishes to a new couple about having a happy life together. The skills she adopted are different from the usual ones. In southern China, the stitches are quite delicate. This is unique here. It goes on both ways of this cloth. We will go along with the patterns of the cloth when we do the stitches. Have you seen this embroidery work? Never. But of course, in my country, we have embroidery culture. Yes, your country has the one-sided embroidery. You use one hand to hold the cloth and another hand to embroider. But for us, we can do both hands. The stitches may go below or above the cloth. This is a rare opportunity, Afu. Do you want to have a try? Yes, of course. Just go for it. I'm looking forward. So, I'm having the seat, and now he will do the stitches. Do you want to try letting through the needle? It's very small. It's really a tiny needle. I've never seen such a tiny needle before. What about a big one? Let's compare. That's the smallest, and that's the largest, right? Yes. So, to use the small needle is quite a test. Okay, now the challenge is to Afu. What? You seem quite professional. I know it's a tough job. In my high school, we had a course with girls and boys in. The thread is out again. Let me have another try. Like I said, the story goes, in my childhood, our classmates would have to embroider, but we boys don't like it naturally. We preferred painting than the needlework. You're good enough. The thread goes in. You can just follow my steps to add more gold color to this flower. It gives splendor because this pattern represents good fortune. So how long does it take, madam, for this pattern? I've already done it for 20 days. So, as you have introduced, is it gonna be a tablecloth? It's a decoration on the table, but it shows pictures on both sides. What are the other occasions for this work to be presented? We value practicality, for example, on our clothes or the cloth used to cover the head of the bride on the wedding. We have 3,000 years of history. It's kind of stuck here. Not really, just pull it. It goes no further. It's okay. Just keep pulling. So sometimes we have to use strength to pull it. If the thread is shorter, it's easier. But since I do this a lot, so I can accept a longer thread. And we must leave no room for the redundant threads when we are stitching. I'm here today because I want to be an apprentice of Master Hu Xingming, and he left a homework for me to find another handicraft related to Fengxiang's customs. Then you are in the right place. Master Hu is a national level inheritor of clay art. He's very popular in China and abroad. So you had a good pick. Madam, could you please give me some suggestion? What types of handicrafts is he looking for? I saw a lot of beautiful crafts here. Take a look. You just leave the needle anywhere. You're doing this quite swiftly. Very professional. See, there are many featured products. This is in the shape of a tiger. Could you give us more information about it? We call it Wudu tiger. Wudu means 5 good fortunes. And also, by the name of it, it represents 5 different poisonous bugs. When the kids wear these tiger shoes, it means the kids will grow stronger to conquer the poison one day. And when the kids get to above 1 month old, usually the grandma will send such a tiger to the kid as a gift. By the pronunciation of the name, it represents the best wishes for the kids. During the Spring Festival, those local customs will be celebrated by every household. For example, sending such tiger shoes to the infant. And also, the embroidery patterns are different on every product. For example, what about this one? Those are lotuses. And its name is 露丝弹莲. 露丝 means the kids will grow up healthily. And the tiger is also like a guardian of the infants, so that the kids will grow more stronger. What about this hat? Let's put it on. It's cute. So this is for a kid, not an adult. Not for me, at least. If you like it, I can send it to you as a gift. Those are for kids. There are different sizes. This is the small size. 2 tigers we're wearing. So, have you settled about your homework? Can this be it? Of course. So, could you help me with my lines to tell my master who? We value the colors and the matching colors particularly. Sometimes we use conflicting colors to reinforce each other. Other places may be dominated by gray color, but in Fengxiang we have very sharp and strong colors like light yellow or light red. So colors matter a lot. Otherwise, you don't feel like it. We want to make those artworks more exaggerated. Yes, as we have noticed, you use a lot of strong and conflicting colors like light red and light green. If you like it, you can take it as your homework. So what are the elements in this one? The matching colors, red, green, rich colors. So this is a good choice. I hope Master Hu can buy it. Thank you, madam. I'm in a hurry to see my master. I hope you succeed. I will. Thank you. So thank you for your time. Let's head for the site. I still remember the name is called Wudu Tiger, 5 Poisonous Tiger. Yes, I think there are 2 intonations in it. The rich colors is the first one. They have matching colors, red, yellow, green, and some small portion of blue colors. They have only 2 places with blue colors, but speaking of green and red, they're everywhere. That's shocking to people's eyes. And another thing to mention is about the elements. In Fengxiang, you can find a lot of such colorful things. Fengxiang is an artistic county. The clay art has 3,000 years of history. That's long. In 2006, Fengxiang was lifted as the site of National Intangible Cultural Heritage. So it's quite impressive. And that's why you are here to find Master Hu. Upon hearing the name clay sculpture, I was excited because I once played with the clay figurines when I was young. In my country, we may have a specific place with a lot of mud, and we go there to play with the mud, and we took them back. But we couldn't add more colors to the clay works. Usually they're just a black and white. We use the mold to make them white. That's what we do with the mud. So basically, you were doing those clay works to be the daily necessities, like a bowl or a bottle. Have you done such artworks? I did when I was young, but I haven't for a long time. There are some of those clay works in my grandma's, and sometimes they sell. Kids love them. I heard that in Fengxiang County, they have a complex process of doing the clay works. Now we are back. Can we succeed? I am very nervous. Fight on. This is my first time meeting Master Hu. You will do the introduction. He's making an ox. That's perhaps because this is the year of ox. Master Hu, we are back. Welcome back. This is my friend, Afei. Yes, one more lady here. I was shopping, so that's why I'm a bit late. We were together to be your apprentice, but she was a little bit late, and this is his homework. I found this in one shop. It's called Wudu Tiger, the 5 Poisonous Tiger. Can it work? Yes, it's quite a typical cultural representative in Fengxiang. I have another tiger here. They were quite similar. 5 poisons tiger represents the tiger that can beat the 5 poisonous bugs. It can represent good meaning to avoid those evil spirits. And the 5 poisons are an integral part of Fengxiang's local culture. We hope for the protection of the young and avoiding the evil and so on. So we hope our kids can grow up healthily with this tiger. That's a good choice. So you passed the examinations. Now we start the learning process. Take your seats. There are different processes about the clay art. It's quite complicated. There are 13 different processes, and to further break it down, there may be 30 different steps, but today we can go ahead with several key steps. First of all, we need the mud, the clay, but it's not a usual mud. So, the first step is to stir the clay. We use this hammer, the wood hammer, to knock it. It cannot fall flatly down on the clay, otherwise you cannot pull it up anymore. So use your strength and then pull it up. So how much longer does it take? 4 to 5 hours of knocking. You're good, Afu. So this clay is called banbantu. Yes. You can also roll this clay with your hammer. So continue the knocking after rolling it up. Use your strength. You use a lot of efforts. Afu, you have a try. Roll this up. Afu learns quite fast. And then knock it down. Wonderful. That's about it. That's the first step, and then we will do the prototype with this mud. I also heard that you add some special materials into the clay. Yes, that's why it won't be scattered when it's knocked. We use some sticky rice, for example, to stir the mud. Now let's do a prototype with this clay. You two can do this together, one for each. Okay, so you put in some water of sticky rice. Yes. It's just like making the dough. Let me do an example for you. Just like making dumplings. So the first step was to knock the clay, and secondly, to make a pie of the clay. What's next? Use this mold. Let's put this pie into this mold. That's an available mold. To press it. So you have several molds in the shapes of different animals. Yes. What's the making of this mold? Stone. What about this? It's also clay, but it's in white color. It's a white powder. It will not stick to your fingers. So you dip some of those white powder so that the clay will not be sticked to the stone mold. To press it to this space of the stone. To fix it into the hollow space. Now this is done. Let's set it aside. So what's going to be the shape of it? This is a sheep. How long does it take to make such an ox? We have to make a mold. 2 days to make the mold. Who wants to make a pie of the clay? Afu. Afu learns quite fast. Use the stick to roll it flat. Turn to another side. It doesn't have to be very thin. We have a requirement of 3 mm. Is it okay? Turn it around another time. The edges, please. More powder. Every time the stick sticks to the clay, you have to put on some powder. It's about right. And then you press it into the hollow space of the mold. Compress it. Compress every place. So it's like putting it strictly into this hollow space. And now deal with the edges. Get rid of those redundant clay on the edges. What about the redundant edges? You can roll the edges. The same here with the edges. Roll it inside. This tradition has 2,000 years of history. From the Qing dynasty, we found such artworks in the tombs of the dynasty. You rip this open here. What about the themes of the clay art? Animals mostly. Compress here. The next key step Usually we put it here for 3 hours and then we get it out. Why? And then we fold those two pieces together. Let's pretend those two already waited for 3 hours. They're still soft right now, but just to pretend that they're done. So those two are ready-made. We use those two ready-made clay as an example by putting those two together, and it's complete. How long does it take? Depending on the temperature, if it's above 20 Celsius degrees, it takes 3 hours. So if you rip those two pieces, they two will come together. And what's next? We will make a clay stick of it. Your hands put on the two ends of the clay stick. To make it a long stick. What's it for? To combine those two pieces. You have skillful hands. Thank you for the flattering. Yes, when your hands are on both ends, the stick will grow longer. Make it further longer. So this is like the fourth step to make a clay stick. You hold this piece and dip some water on the edges to make it moist, and then the clay stick is pressed onto the edges. You do the rest of the work. For the remaining mud, just take it off. Alpha is learning quite well. You hold this, please, and dip some more water. This is a necessary step. That's actually the critical technique about it. Then you put this on. Then you hold it vertically and you keep using your force to compress the two pieces to make sure that those two pieces match each other strictly. It looks fine. Dip water again. Let me show you. To make it smooth. So this clay stick is made flat. And those two pieces seem to be together seamlessly. Basically, you don't use any tool. You're using your hands to complete the work. Okay, now you see those two pieces are coming together. Now it seems like it's just a one-in piece. They're not stick together. compress it, and then make it smooth. But that will make like some part of the sheep less clear, because the mud compressed over there will cover some lines of the pattern. Never mind it. You can try to avoid the key patterns. We call it 活活, and the clay figures are called 活人. And we usually have a saying that even a 3-year-old know how to make a clay figurine. So I am at the level of a 3-year-old. It's quite professional. I'm not good at it. It's fairly good. We just have to do some modification work to make it clean and neat. Some more water, please. To make this more smooth. Not too much water, please. It's like the sheep is taking a bath. Okay, what's next? We have to wait for it to dry. Just like that rabbit over there. Then we can put on colors. It won't be broken into pieces. When this sheep is dried, it looks like this one. We will have to moisturize it again to polish it. Otherwise, the colors cannot get on it. You have to make it very smooth with the water. So it has to be put for several days. So after washing this clay again, you have to wait for it to dry for another time. What's in this white mixture? It's called galling clay. You have to feel it with your hands. If you feel any bump on this pattern, you have to make it smooth. So we are feeding the clay while we are putting water on the clay. This is called 洗货, washing the clay figurines. It's necessary. That's it. The next step, the dried figurine will be colored. So the white mixture will be used. Then it will turn white like this rabbit. And also it goes for several rounds. Place it in. Please hand me. It's quite a mixture. You pour it from the head to toe. Go for it and do it quickly. The white paste has to cover every part. So every household can do this artwork, yes. You hold the 2 ears, lift it up, and place it in this bowl, in this pot, to dry it. When it's dried, it looks like this rabbit. Now, clean your hands. Next step is about drawing the lines. I heard that drawing the lines is quite difficult. It requires skills. Let's take a brush. The ink. Are you gonna draw on this rabbit? Yes, of course. You see the spring on the ears? That's the last step, yes. Let me draw several lines as an example. The first drawing goes to the eyes. And when we draw the eyes for the rabbit, we usually draw the double-folded eyelids. And that's the nose and mouth of the rabbit. It's composed of 3 sketches. And then that's the whiskers. Usually we draw 5 lines on the whiskers. And according to the traditional Chinese culture, we usually draw in the singular numbers. How about you draw the whiskers on the other side? That's the feet, toes, that's fantastic. And the rabbit will wear a necklace. It requires techniques. It seems easy looking, but when you do it on your own, it's different. Some more patterns as decoration. It's beautiful. That's the leg. That's the tail. That's the fur on the tail. It's vivid. So I complete half of the rabbit and you will do the other half. That's the eyelashes. Well, that's quite a unique skill about the eyelashes. And on the head of it, you draw a circle. We haven't paid close attention to the details before. Let me complete this half. And a flower grows on the back. So those elements have good meanings. What are those circles representing? Meaning good fortune, and the flower means blooming and healthy. And that's the leaves of the flower. Let me scan the comments of the viewers. You do the rest of the work. Get some more ink. They are saying, how cute is the rabbit? And Fengxiang County. Thank you. I will. The eyes, please. Do you have an ox? Can we draw on an ox? Because this is the ear of ox. Yes, of course. You have a very deft hand. The eye look good. Another sketch to make the double-folded eyelid. The eyelashes. You're quite smart. The whiskers. 5 whiskers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They represent the 5 elements in traditional Chinese culture. That's about right. Necklace. 2 circles. And there will be a ring on the necklace. So draw a circle in the middle of the necklace. That's a ring bell. The leg. Let me see. It's quite difficult. To make a thin line. 2 other lines on the feet and toes. Issoufou is going wild, and Master Hu is quite delicate. This technique has over 1,000 years of history. For him to get on with it so quickly, it's really hard. And now he's drawing the patterns. Don't repeat the lines. So this sculpture will never be broken into pieces, right? No, never. If they're easily broken, they cannot be sold. Draw the leaf of the flower. Here. How about I draw an ox? Then the tail. It's almost complete. Draw this upside down. Wonderful. Issoufou has done his work. Then we do the eyes. To put it in the right place, the eyeball. So we put the eyeball in the middle. For the other eye, please. It's done. Any comment, Master Hu? It's fairly good. Let's show our viewers. I'm very nervous. I saw my hands shaking while doing it. After all, it has over several thousand years of history. For such a craft with a long history and cultural background, it takes some tough job. Next, painting. Let's put it here, and I will show you another example. How many colors are we using today? 3. Green. How do you feel? It's very funny. We're imitating half of the rabbit. To paint the color, please let me hold it up. Yellow first. The colors will then have to be heated. So the first step, let's go with red. To be honest, since the paints are cold, you have to draw very quickly. Otherwise, the color will be condensed. Now let's do the mouth, the nose, in red as well. That is to dilute the color. Master, I want to draw the ox. Yes. Now let's paint the petals of the flower. Do it quickly. Turn this brush. That's the scale. And leave some white space on the edges of the petal. Another petal. Do it quickly, as I said. Otherwise, the ink will be solidified. Okay, let me try. How many apprentices do you have, Master Hu? 200. They have their own workshops. You have too much ink. Again. Can we repeat this petal? Not really. So are all of your apprentices doing the workshops in Fengxiang? Yes. Fengxiang Clay Art is a local brand. It's also a national brand. It's once adopted on the Gala of the Spring Festival, and it's also used on the stamps. Now do the eyes. So our clay art is very popular internationally. We were once exhibited in 40 countries and regions. And also it was used as a gift by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, once sent to President Clinton. How about this size? It works. So this art is quite influential. After all, as I said, it has 2,000 years of history. It could be sourced to the Zhou dynasty. And also we have rich patterns from the Tang dynasty. And also the claw. The claws are red. To do the claw this way. 5 sketches. You must have some stories about using colors. Nose, eyes, mouth, toes, and ears are all red. For this moment, clay sculpture has become a source of revenues for Fengxiang County. And it's a very good example of the development of new type of villages. They're beautiful. It helps to boost our cultural confidence. Clay sculpture represents thousands of years of Chinese culture. So Fengxiang clay art is practiced by every household, and it also goes global because we have exhibitions every year internationally. And even Xiangyang, the emblem, was in the pattern of the clay sculptures. And Zhuhuan, the bird, can also be done with the clay. This is it. Zhuhuan is one of the 4 treasures. And that's the monkey. 4 treasures, including the monkey, the bird, panda. They are quite cute in such small sizes, and they also have different colors. This flower pattern looks quite similar to the one on the rabbit. We usually draw 4 petals on the animals. That's because they are from the sweet-scented osmanthus. It represents good fortune. That's all about red. Next, let's draw green. The clay art is more industrialized. Are you selling the works? We have an online shop. Green will be painted in the middle of the flower. The leaves. How many years have you practiced the clay art? Almost 50 years. Then the necklace. You must have won a lot of awards. Do you have any special story about your bond with clay? When I was young, I saw the clay figurines putting lines together on the floor. I thought they were so cute. There is never a toy like the clay. So you learned from your family, yes. It's passed down. Almost the same in my country. We also learn from the family. I learn from my parents, and I learn from my grandma. I saw her a lot. She was quite old. She didn't do the artwork herself, but her shop sells those clays. It's really lucky for you today. You are touching the folk art with thousands of years of history. You get to the root of the cultural background. You are becoming a master in one day's time. You're just flattering me. Afu's hand was shaky just then, when he was flattered by Master Hu. So that's simple colors. Another color is yellow. When yellow is put on, this one is done. To fill the edges. I've learned a lot today. You do some more yellow. Afu, could you please share with us about your feeling? It's an interesting experience. I have a feeling for the Chinese culture and the ancient history. Is he a qualified apprentice? He is. He's quite talented. He was born to be an artist. If you're talented, you can feel the art. We will look at if the hands are steady, and Afu has steady hands. So this artwork is almost done. Let me do some more sketches to polish it. Once the colors are added, it looks different. The bell is yellow. All right. That's it for the rabbit. And that's the first homework of my student. It's fairly good. How do you feel, Afu? It's difficult, but once we make efforts, we can do this. That's a dog. You will see the difference. If you follow the techniques based on today's learning, you will do better. You can get 70 out of 100 for the score. That's good enough. We read some materials about this tradition, but today we are here in person. We are still shocked by the techniques. And for the clay art, they're not just a clay. They're actually gold because it helps the village to grow wealthier and it transmits the traditional Chinese culture elsewhere. This clay art is the spokesperson for Fengxiang. They represent the aspiration of the local people for better lives. This is about our live broadcasting today. Later on, we will do more polishing to this rabbit. And Master Hu, could you please teach us a local dialect to say, "What's up, Shaanxi?" Okay, the local dialect. What's up, Shaanxi? Afu learns fast. Okay, this is the end of our show. We have more to provide for you. Please pay attention. What's up, Shaanxi, everyone? See you next time.